Okay, before I get to my next guest, Jason Hase, I want to give a shout out to a few more of our sponsors, starting with our friends over at Finn Cycles. It's time to rethink golf. The game is at a tipping point. The young people we need in the game don't have 4.5 hours to spend out on the course. Pairing Finn Cycles with a desire to play ready golf can cut playing time in half because all golfers go directly to their own golf ball. Plus, it's tons of fun. Go online to finscooters.com and click on Find a Fin for a course that has them near you. I also want to give a shout out to our friends over at Golf Pride. Did you know that Golf Pride lets you rep your favorite team while also using the #1 grip in golf? Your team, your grip, MCC Hybrid Grips, the #1 grip series worldwide. Features an exclusive brushed cotton cord in the upper hand for all-weather performance, with premium rubber in the lower hand for added feel. The new MCC Team Series is available in a variety of new color combinations, so you can rep your favorite team out on the course. Available in standard and midsize. Check it out online by going to golfpride.com. And folks, this segment of the show is sponsored by our friends over at the PGA Tour Superstore.
This segment of the show is brought to you by the PGA Tour Superstore. See why golfers everywhere are proud to call PGA Tour Superstore their golf pro shop. Visit them online at PGATourSuperstore.com. Now back to Chris and more of the show.
All right, now back in next on the tee with me is Jason Hase. Jason is one of the top instructors in the game. He's from Tucumcari, New Mexico. He attended the New Mexico Military Institute in Roswell, New Mexico. He earned his certification as a PGA professional from the PGA of America back in 1998. He may be the most decorated person ever in the Northern Texas PGA section. He served as vice president and then president for several years. Jason won the Bill Strasbaugh Award several times, which is the top honor given in the PGA West Texas chapter. He was the chapter's Golf Professional of the Year 3 times and Teacher of the Year twice. He was also the Merchandiser of the Year for private clubs in 2004 and 2006. He was named the Manager of the Year in 1998 by 4-Star Golf Corporation. He won the Northern Texas PGA Championship in 2010. He helped start up and coach the golf program at Angelo State University and helped get that program to national prominence in only their second year of existence. He is now the Director of Instruction at Buffalo Dunes Golf Course in Garden City, Kansas, and I'm honored to have him back with me again tonight here on Next on the Tee. Hey, Jason, how are you, my friend?
I'm good, Chris. How are you this evening?
I'm fantastic, thank you. And Jason, hey, first of all, congratulations to you and everybody out there at Buffalo Dunes for being named one of the best municipal courses in the country by Golf Magazine. You guys were number 8, and that's just below a couple of the Bethpage courses. And then Chambers Bay and Torrey Pines ahead of you as well. But heck, you guys had to be pretty excited about coming in number 8 there.
You know, it was quite the honor, quite the surprise. You know, we're in the middle, we're in year 2 of a 5-year renovation, and just the entire community, Garden City, the staff out of Buffalo Dunes, our golf course superintendent and stuff. I mean, it's just all the pieces have come together, and we're finally kind of getting the recognition that Western Kansas deserves when it comes to golf. Buffalo Dunes is definitely, it's going to just keep getting better over the next 5 years. We'll complete the plan in 2026, which is our 50-year anniversary. So everybody's pretty excited. Ever since that article has come out, we've picked up play from all 4 corners of the country. It's been pretty phenomenal for us.
So I want to get into all of that, Jason. And first of all, talk about the Buffalo Dunes course. And it looks like, obviously, coming in as high as it did, this is a course we all need to add to our bucket list. Talk to us about it.
You know, the golf course is in the middle of some sand hills south of town, about 6 miles. The original designer, Frank Hummel, it just built a really, really great golf course. And when Clay and I got here back, this will be I'll be starting my 5th season, the middle of this month, which is crazy to, how fast time flies. But Clay and I kind of got together, Clay Payne, our golf course superintendent, and, you know, the bones to make this place extremely special are there. And we started working on the golf course improvement plan. We got 2 architects involved, Todd Clark, CE Golf Design out of Kansas City, and then a young guy named Zach Vardy Golf. Zach does a lot of bunker stuff for Coors Crenshaw, and this is kind of his first rattle out of the box. And just all the pieces came together. The golf course kind of doesn't fit the landscape out there, so Clay and I's original thought was we need to bring this more into what western Kansas looks like, or these sand hills. And so we got together. Zach and Todd presented a plan. We tweaked it a little bit, and it's kind of a living document. We're kind of tweaking it as we go a little bit. We're getting rid of quite a few trees. The property is huge, and it was more like a parkland golf course in the inner city, and we're kind of bringing it back, I think, to Mr. Hummel's original idea, which is, prairie style. Clay's got a lot of experience. He was up at Dismal in Nebraska, and then was at Valley Neal, and then came to us just the April before I got there in August, and it's just been, we've become a great team, and I think the idea that we had of the remodel of the golf course, the city bought in. At the end of the day, we are reducing our footprint out there. We're getting rid of 20 irrigatable acres of turf, converting it back into native. We're adding a 4th set of tees. All the greens and bunker complexes are going to be different. It's just going to be more playable, but at the end of the day, for the city of Garden City, it's going to cost less to operate. It's going to cost less to maintain, and it's going to use less water. And I think we're being really good stewards of what we're able to do. So we're really excited. The community is excited. It's been fantastic.
And Jason, talking about the community, they've pitched in to help with some of the labor, I read. Talk about how the project has actually brought the community together.
So the original price turnkey to do the entire project was a little over $800,000. This past season, 2021, we started in 2020. We rebuilt 3 greens, added some new bunker complexes, new tees. But what we did is we've got a acre putting green that's our bent grass nursery, and then we converted the back of our driving range into a bluegrass nursery. We grew that in, and then we pretty much did everything in-house. Our Parks and Rec department came out and helped lay sod on the new greens. Our zoo came out and helped lay sod. The sod that we cut out of the areas to convert back into native, that was used at the zoo and a few other areas in town. And then the last green we laid was just our golfers. We sent out an email and social media and said, hey, we need some help. We had about 30 people show up. It took us about 3 hours to lay the sod, and bought everybody some drinks and cold beers and pizza, and it's just been a community effort. The city of Garden City is amazing, and the people in Garden City are amazing. It's the most eclectic group of people you can imagine. It's just a great spot. I love it. It's been fantastic for me. I can't say enough about it.
Jason, you mentioned a moment ago it's like prairie golf. Take us around the course and give us an idea of the beauty of the golf course and the style of play it requires.
So there's a lot of up and down. The golf course is about 7,000 yards. You can use every club in your bag. It's funny that you ask that right now. The golf course is surrounded by, right now we've got alfalfa fields, and they're in the middle of mowing alfalfa. So you come out and play, and you leave kind of sniffling, and your allergies get flared up a little bit. But, it is in the middle of sand hills, and not just little sand hills, great big sand hills. And so number one is, kind of a hard dogleg right par 4. You can hit driver and have a little wedge. Number 2 is actually going to be a hole that we redesigned this coming September. We're going to be taking out some of the pine trees, adding some bunkering down the right side, rebuilding the green, adding a little more undulation into it, having a couple of bunkers down the left side, short of the green. Again, you can hit, depending on which way the wind's blowing. If the wind's blowing out of the south, you may hit driver 7-iron. If it's blowing out of the north, you're going to hit driver sand wedge. You definitely have to hit it straight. The native grasses, right now you hit it in that stuff, you're not going to find it. It's kind of funny. One of the things we've done this season is we actually had a gentleman come out with a swather, big tractor, and cut the native and then come back in and make some hay bales, 1,000-pound hay bales. And I think we've gotten 25 to 30 of those so far. We've probably done a third of the golf course, and we'll be continuing that throughout the remainder of the season. Number 3 is a brand new par 3, about 200 yards. Number 4 is going to be a hole it's probably the easiest par 5 on the golf course. You can hit driver 8-iron, or you can hit driver 3-wood, depending on what the wind's going to do. But we have some plans for that to possibly lengthen that out a little bit. There's really not a bad hole on the golf course, Chris. It's a pretty special place. I could talk about it for 45 minutes. The amount of wildlife that's out at the course. We had our big men's partnership this weekend. We call it the El Dos, and Clay and I were out on hole number 6 and kind of looking up at one of the alfalfa fields and one of the sand dunes, and there's some big mule deer that are in velvet, and they're probably $5 or $6. And it's just a really cool spot. And we're going to bring it back into kind of that prairie style, or that golf courses that are in the sand dunes, like a Prairie Dunes or some other golf courses in Kansas.
Jason, I want to switch it up a little bit. I want to talk about the great junior golf program you're running up there. And I particularly like a post I saw, make a birdie and coach carries all the golf bags back to the clubhouse sort of contest. Talk about that.
Well, so that was that was one of our PGA Junior League practices. We have about 38 kids that signed up this season, which is our biggest group ever. But I ended up with that day we went out on the golf course and played about 4 holes, and the girls, I ended up with the older girls, and they weren't hitting it particularly well, and I was giving them a hard time, and I told them, I said, if one of y'all's groups make a birdie on this hole, I'll carry all your golf bags in. And we were about 400 yards from the clubhouse. And there's really not an easy way to walk to get where we were at. And lo and behold, one of the girls hit it on the green. I actually almost made a 2, made birdie, and they didn't even wait on me. And it was time to go. They left me with 5 golf bags and a push cart, and off they went. And one of the girls stuck around. Her name was Sophia Hernandez, and Sophia Hernandez works in our for the city of Garden City with Jamie Stewart, and kind of does all of our social media. But so little Sophia, she kind of hung out with me, and it took me about 15 minutes to get back to the clubhouse carrying all these bags, and it was kind of fun. And we, myself and my staff, we kind of do some of the stuff like that just to. We will do push-ups if they like things, do things well, or vice versa. So we try to make it as fun as possible. And that day I ended up losing and carrying 5 golf bags and a push cart. So
that's awesome.
So
Jason, I got to get a playing lesson from you before I let you go. On a course like you've got there, and a sand course, and talk about wedge game. If I'm coming out to Buffalo Dunes to play, Talk about the right bounce of the wedge that I'm going to need to play there. And if I'm a guy struggling hitting my wedges fat, how do I correct that?
So it's interesting you asked that question. I actually gave a lesson today to one of our juniors. So Buffalo Dunes, we have very, very thick and healthy bluegrass. So it's not like playing in West Texas. I mean, you're not going to get an 8-iron or 9-iron a lot of the times and hit some bump and run shots. You're going to have to use some loft. And, you know, the more loft, the better, I think, on some of the holes around the golf course, because you short side yourself. And so what we worked on today out of the thick bluegrass is you almost have to attack it like a bunker shot. I'll call it splashing the grass. And what happens when people tend to splash the grass, they continue to swing the club through the grass instead of at the ball. And so we spend a lot of time working on that swing, and then we introduce the golf ball, and we usually have pretty good success. Now, I am a guy that I prefer to have the more bounce, the better, is my opinion. There's less error, I think, that can go wrong. And unless you're a guy that practices your short game all the time, or you have, really, really soft hands, the more bounce, the better, in my opinion. It interacts with the turf better. I think the versatility of having more bounce, you can use it off a tight lie, you can use it off a lie that's very thick. So I don't know if that makes sense, but that's how I like to approach it.
And Jason, every year you guys host the Garden City Charity Classic on the Symetra Tour. Talk about getting to spend a week with some of the best young players out on that Symetra Tour that are LPGA hopefuls.
It's amazing, the quality of golfers and the quality of lady golfers that have come through here the last 4 years since I've been here. There's, Sophia Popoff is a good example. She played here in 2019, I believe she finished in the top 10, and then goes on and wins the British Women's Open. She played in Garden City, Kansas the year before. I mean, there's another lady I've got to know really well. Her name is Jenny Coleman and Kristen Coleman, sisters out of California. They're both fantastic players. Kristen's still playing Symetra. Jenny is out on LPGA now and has had quite a year. She I can't remember who she beat in the match play, but she waxed one of the ladies, I think one of the top 10 players in the world, and she waxed her pretty good. So the quality of golfer that is coming through Garden City is amazing. We're the smallest community in the country that hosts the Symetra Tour event, and again, it just goes back to the quality of the community that we have. The other program that I'd be remiss if we didn't talk about was the junior college team this year. We actually finished 4th in the country, which was the lowest finish that we've ever had. And we had some great kids, and there's just lots of great things golf-wise going on in our community.
Well, Jason, congratulations on all the great things that are happening out there. Let our listeners know, how can they stay up to date with the great things that you're doing, whether it's online or it's on social media?
You can follow me on Twitter, on Instagram. You can follow Buffalo Dunes on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. You can go to our website, buffalodunes.org, and find all that information. We've always got something going on. We've got, just like probably every other golf course in the country, between now and the end of the season, we've got outing season going on. So we'll have some pretty good posts of some really good golfers and some really bad golfers. So we try to maintain that social media presence and make it enjoyable. And there's always something going on. I think I sent you a picture last night. I was in Dighton, Kansas, for a junior clinic. The golf course there has sand greens, and we're lined up down the number one fairway, and a guy decides to plow his field next to us, and it looked like a big dirt storm's going on. So it seems like there's always something new that happens out here. But it keeps us on our toes, and it's wonderful.
Well, Jason, I can't thank you enough for taking time out of your busy schedule to come back and be a part of the show. It's always a lot of fun when you join me in the segment.
Yeah.
Best of luck to
Yes,
everybody
sir.
out there, to you, the Buffalo Dunes, and all of that. You guys are awesome.
I appreciate you, and appreciate all your shouts out all the time on social media. I mean, your listeners.
Hey, next on the Teen Nation, thanks for tuning into this segment of the show. I really appreciate all your support. If you're enjoying the show, please go online to podcastmagazine.com and vote for us in their Hot 50 list. You'll see a tab to vote right there on their homepage. Stay up to date with our guest schedule by going online to nextonthet.net. I really appreciate you. Enjoy the segment.
Have got a fantastic podcast, and like I always say, you're one of the true gentlemen in the game of golf. So I appreciate your friendship and everything. I appreciate being on the show as always.
Right back at you, Jason. Take care, my friend. Stay safe out there. All the best to you and your family. I look forward to the opportunity of catching up with you again soon.
Yes, sir. You too, and have a great rest of August, and we'll hopefully talk to you before the end of the year.
Thanks, Jason. Take care, my friend.
Thanks, sir. Yes, sir.
That's a great Jason Hase at Hase Jason, Hase Jason PGA on Twitter is his handle, and on Instagram as well. Jason is a wonderful human being. He's doing a great job with the junior program. You heard him talk about the junior college team as well. And then Buffalo Dunes, folks, no joke, number 8 on the best municipal courses in the country. And just, the ones above it are ones that right? You think about the courses at Bethpage being right up there, and then Chambers Bay and Torrey Pines. When you're in that company, the golf course is fantastic. So look forward to catching up with Jason and hear how the next piece of the renovation goes. Hopefully we'll do that again real soon.